This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. Starring the pet man Matt Morrow, owner and founder of CFI. With him we have Sheree Glenn, our lead reporter, knocking out interviews, going all over the place, just being the queen of CFI. We have Brandon Black, the man behind the camera, the producer, and our photographer does a great job getting those shots every week. We have with us assistant West Charlotte football coach Brandon Billups. Very energetic young man. Former head coach at Central Cabarrus and East Rowan High Schools, Kenneth McClamrock, one of our big football experts. And then last but certainly not least, we have Josh Kroll, former Christ the King head coach, former offensive coordinator at multiple schools. And we are Football Focus Weekly.
All right, good evening, everyone. Matt Morrow, the Pet Man here. Another edition of Football Focus Weekly. We've been gone for 2 weeks. We're back. Glad to be back in the house, bringing you some great football knowledge across all platforms, not only high school football, but a little bit of college football, a little bit of NFL with our picks coming up down the line. And we got some new stuff that we're going to debut tonight, so we're excited to bring that to you. But first and foremost, we're going to start off the show with our special guest. He is a state championship defensive coordinator from Vance High School. If you're in the Charlotte area, you probably know him as just Hackett, but he is defensive coordinator Anthony Hackett with the Vance Cougars, ready to come back and defend their state title once again. And we're going to bring him on the show with us right now. How we doing tonight, Coach?
Hey, what's going on, Pep? Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on, man. Shot you a text yesterday. You said you'd be glad to do it, and I appreciate the fast response, man. So, first, can y'all still see me? Okay, I think we're good. All right. So, who designed the shirt? Where did it come from? And do you think you can run NC for the second year in a row?
One of the janitors at the school, Miss Joanne, actually designed it for me, and I got the idea from my buddy up in Virginia. I definitely do. I know it probably raised a couple eyebrows with the shirt, but we kind of like that. We feel very confident with the kids we got coming back. Feel very confident about our coaching staff, and we feel like every game we should definitely be the favorite. So we definitely feel like we run NC, and we're not going back down from it.
Very good, very good. And I know you've got a lot of talent coming back on this team coming up next season. Some guys that you expect to be really, really strong players for you on defense. I know you got a couple of returning guys, but you got some new guys that are expected to do some big things as well.
Yes, sir. A couple of returning guys, corner Nate Spindle. He's committed to North Carolina A&T, 6 foot, 185, very solid. He's behind 2 Division I corners last year, so it's kind of hard for him to get on the field last year, but his time is now. He actually will be wearing number 7, who is kind of a cool number in our DB room. A lot of big-time players who played under me wore number 7, and Nate's going to be wearing that. We have TP, Torion Porter, coming back. He started nickel for us the last 4 games of the season. I call him a little baby honey badger. Always making plays, always taking the ball away from the offense, always around the ball. I coached his oldest brother. Just a team full of, just a family full of gym rats. They love to work out. He's no different, and he's going to be one of my main leaders coming back as well. I have James Pierce on the D-line. 6'6", probably about 215, hopefully close to 215. He had 3 sacks in the state championship game last year. Sky's the limit. This is a kid that can play on Sundays if he does everything and keep progressing. So we're going to pin a lot on James Pierce this year, along with Jalen Swindell, who's going to play my nose guard for me. He's 6'2", 285, 290. Very physical at the point of attack and had a great offseason. Is ready to step up and be a leader for us on that defensive line. Very excited about Jalen Swift. We had Jeremiah Smith come in from us from another school. Very, very athletic safety who we're excited about. We're hoping he can kind of do the same things that Marquis did down the stretch last year for us. Very impressive tape. His older brother was a big-time player in the area as well. Family full of bloodlines, so we're excited about getting Jeremiah as well. So, excuse me. We had some pieces coming back, but I lost 9. Okay, I lost 9 returning starters, so 100%. We're gonna have to get it going, get back to the drawing board, and dial that thing. But on the flip side, offensively, we're very, very explosive. So they're going to be able to help us out a lot this year. I'm very excited about that side of the ball. We have another kid that came in that's going to help us out in the special teams as well. So overall team, I feel like we might be a little bit better. Just an overall team, just because we're just more complete this year. And it all starts with the quarterback. I mean, it all starts with 2. He's running state championship quarterback. He's ready to go. He's got a plethora of weapons around him. So we're gonna mimic each other. But very excited to get going, man. Just very excited to kind of see the younger kids. We got some younger JV kids moving up. Jordan Thompson, who I'm very excited about. Very excited about Jordan Thompson, who's had a very great offseason. So yeah, those are some of the names come off the top of the head, but there's going to be some more that I probably didn't mention.
Yeah, Coach, I'm going to mention one that was the defensive MVP of our Under the Lights camp, Zarion Jackson.
Oh, yeah,
I tell you.
Young boy.
Yeah.
I'm saying, it's probably more than him, but yeah, Zarion's another kid who we're very excited about, JV kid who's moving up in the program, who had a great offseason. And like you said, he got MVP in your camp, and I went back and watched the highlights, and he was almost unblockable. That's the kind of shows you some of the depth that we have now at the program that we might not have had a couple years ago.
Right. Another kid I want to mention, Sangha Yates. Just what an incredible athlete. My goodness. He came out and just.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I competed against him, and anytime I got a game plan and circle a guy, I know he's a problem. So when we was fortunate to get him to move in, we was very happy about that. And that he's a problem. He is an absolute problem, and he can actually come over and help me a little bit at corner if I need him to as well. So we're kind of excited about that, along with KC. They both can kind of come over and do that if I need them.
Good deal. Absolutely loaded with talent. Just crazy, man. But I do want to go back last year and ask you about, the playoff run. We were there for most of the games. Just going on the road and beating, Butler, Mallard Creek, West Forsyth, and then going down to Richmond. How does that happen? How did you guys come together and get that done after a tough loss at Huff when we were there too at the end of the regular season?
I think it started with Huff. That kind of got us back refocused. I know for myself, it definitely got me back refocused. Not that we overlooked Huff or we took them lightly, but the game planning was not the same as it was for the playoff. And just kind of looking back, Pep, for me personally, I think that was the biggest thing that, we did on the defensive side of the ball. We wouldn't leave every night, probably Monday through Thursday to 9:00. And that's the guys' honest truth. We would get done with practice at 7, and we'll go down and watch film to probably about 8:30, 9:00. And we did that every day, Monday through Thursday, every single week, all the way to the state championship. And I really think that was the difference, along with a couple position moves, Marquis moving to safety. I think that kind of helped. And and like I tell everybody, man, like, we lost, Coach Brand last year. He went on down, and we had Coach Furby move in, man. But those kids lost that state championship game to Wake Forest the year before. They was determined to get back and win. I don't care who was coaching them, offense, defense, head coach. Those kids were not going to lose. They were going to get back and win. So when we went to Richmond County, after beating Mallard Creek, that wasn't going to stop them. That Richmond County environment wasn't going to stop them from getting back to the state championship game where they just lost the year before by 2 points. And that's something we talked about that week. I brought it up. I said, we had to remember last year taking a knee and watching Wake Forest get their medals. We had to get down on the knee and watch. And I watched y'all cry in tears and be mad. We weren't going to do that again. We were determined not to do that again. The type of kids we have advanced, man, when their backs against the walls, they love that. They love that. So I think that was the biggest thing for us, man, just the preparation, the determination to get back and win it again. I definitely try to rah them up, man, but those boys are ready to go. I mean, that Stephon Thompson at Butler week, there was no way in heck he was losing to Butler. No way. It was, I don't care what would have happened. Stephon Thompson was not going to be his last game. And, Malik Creek, we talked about a lot that week about how I didn't want that to be their last game after winning at Butler. We had a great win at Butler. We have all these seniors, all these Power 5 kids, and now here we are playing Malik Creek. And, everybody, we're supposed to lose, and now our season's going to be over. So we talked about that at Malik Creek. And, man, that's after that, man, it was downhill. It was just downhill.
Awesome insight right there, man. That's really, really good stuff. You got a fan on watching. You might know that guy.
What's that?
He'll move down to South Carolina there. Coach Littlejohn.
Oh, yeah.
Down at South Point now.
Yeah, that's my
All
boy.
right. Yeah, good dude, man. Real good dude. We're going to go down there and see him at South Point here real soon.
I'm going to get down there.
We got to – yeah, that's something I'll ask you in just a second. Just, what your thoughts are about South Carolina starting. But we got a question here from our resident coach, Kenny McClamrock, that's got something for you here.
Okay.
Coach, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, Coach? How you
Man,
doing?
I'm telling you what, you're making me want to get a whole bunch of tattoos on my arms and start wearing cut-off sleeves, man. Like, I'm digging it.
I've been in the gym, man. I've been in the gym, so a little hot in the house.
Man, I heard that. Hey, so you mentioned a minute ago that coming off the loss 2 years ago to Wake Forest, man, the determination, the grit the guys have, that memory of sitting on your knee, watching the other dudes get the medal, and, man, this year's going to be different. And you even said it didn't matter who the new coaches were. Like, these dudes were gonna show up and show out. So how do you make sure there's not a drop-off from 2019 until 2020, man? The dudes have tasted victory. They proved everybody wrong. They proved that they run North Carolina, the 704. Everybody's got to come through Vance now, man. Everybody's going to be looking at y'all as the target, the game that they're going to circle, the Huffs, the Malik Creeks, and the Richmonds, and all those kinds of schools, man. So how do you make sure there's not a drop-off this year?
Great question, Coach. Great question. I love your energy as well. I think for us, Coach, just kind of just getting back to the basics, starting out with the fundamentals, starting out with kind of what got us to where we got to last year. And I know on our side of the ball, defensively, it starts with effort. We preach it. We just had a Zoom meeting. I just had a Zoom meeting before this, and that's the first thing we talked about, is playing with great effort. And, we had a staff meeting this past Monday, and one of the things Coach Furby, said he was going to talk about state championship first week, and after that, we're not mentioned. It's on to a new season. Last year, means nothing now. Everybody's going to be gunning for us. Shirts like this and, big rings we got, everybody's going to be gunning for us. But like I said, we wanted that. We kind of saw the other team down the street had that for a couple years, and we kind of want to be that team now. So, but I think the main thing, Coach, is honestly is just coming out every day, not, going off what happened last year and worrying about what's going on right now. We have a lot of new faces, a lot of new kids. We lost, like I said, I lost 9. So everybody's going to have to kind of prove themselves on my side of the ball. You know what I'm saying? And same thing for the offensive side. So it's got to get back to work. We lift a lot advanced. We lift Monday through Friday advanced. We lift on game days advanced. So that's kind of one of our well, we got to attack the weight room, especially with the pandemic. We got to take advantage of the opportunities when we get inside the weight room. It helps having number 2 back at quarterback, definitely. Helps having Coach Furby back in his second year on the offense. And, defensively, man, we're not going to change. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to attack. We're going to play man coverage. We're going to get after you. So, definitely, Coach, this the day-to-day grind, man. You know it. I mean, you know what it's about, the day-to-day grind, and not worrying about what happened last year and just focusing on, right now.
Coach, one more quick question since I have you. The loss of Power, man, obviously, I mean, Power is phenomenal, and he's going to go on and maybe he'll write a big fat check to you one day when he's played on Sunday. How do the rest of the dudes around him? How are they dealing with that? Like, is it, man, we lost power, or do you feel like you got dudes that are ready to step up and show out that maybe would not have been able to if he stuck around and he played his senior year?
Great question again, Coach. 100% that we feel like we got dudes that step up. I've already been in contact with some of the linebackers going to be kind of replacing or coming up behind power. They're ready to go. They're already, watching film, asking me questions, asking Coach Cannon, the linebackers questions. We talking about leadership. And I think that's the biggest thing that P brought to us, man, was just he was the guy. He was the rah-rah guy. He was going to make sure everybody was lined up. He was going to get in you if he wasn't. And, like I talked to one of the guys that might be replacing him, I said, I'm not asking you to be power. I'm asking you to lead in your own way. Everybody is a different leader. You're your own leader. I'm my own leader. So just lead in your own way. And it's going to be a collective group, man, because, he was that talented as far as a leader and as a player. And as a person, really, it's going to be a collective group. But we definitely got guys that feel like, we can, step up and be ready to roll and not going to miss a beat without Pete. Now, to the outside world, everybody feels like, we're beatable and we're not going to be able to play defense anymore. But I think that's going to be the challenge. And I kind of put everybody else around. We play better, Coach. As long as we can get someone that.
I don't think anybody's buying that from you.
What you say?
I said, I don't think anybody's buying that from you.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, we definitely play better with that chip on our shoulder. So sure. I think I find little buttons to try to push with the guys as well, man. 'Cause I know our kids, they like to play with an edge. So anytime I can find some bulletin board material, I feed it right to them. They said Richmond County. I'm not going to mention the name, but a reporter said Richmond County was going to score 21 on us. I came in a meeting room. I told Power that. Power said, no way. If you go back and look at the under the radar, Power said they was going to score 21 on us. The disrespect is real. That's what he was talking about. So anytime I can push a button with those guys, I do it.
That's awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
I can guarantee you that Charlotte Football Insiders did not say that.
It was on radar. I ain't say it was you. I said I'm not gonna mention the person's name.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Our reporter said they're gonna score 21 on our defense. And Pep, at the time, we have only given up 14 in 4 games. How they gonna score 21 in 1 game? So, yeah, they was fired up on that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So obviously, when you mentioned that you're getting ready to start practice again October 12th, CMS is allowing, football teams to start up again. So what's the plan for you guys advance to kind of get things going once again?
Right now, I think we're going to go Monday through Thursday, Pep. 50 kids be on the field. We're going to go 25, 2 fields, 1 coach to a pod. And every coach got to wear a mask, and we're going to follow the rules and, do everything we're supposed to do. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be weird. But the way we look at it, everybody's kind of doing the same thing. So we just got to make the best of our opportunity. We got to really hit on the mental edge, on the Zoom meetings, on the meetings we can get with the kids. So when we do get back going, Pep, the mental part is good. So we're not out there thinking because we lost that time with the kids on the mental side. So it's definitely going to be different, definitely going to be weird. But, we're meeting. We got a good trainer. So she's going to be on top of things. And, Coach Furby and our AD is also on top of things. So we'll be ready to roll.
Excellent. Yeah, Margot does an awesome job. So, yeah, I know she'll take good care of you guys. Coach, I want to thank you for coming on with us tonight, man. It was awesome. Thank you for so much insight into, the program and the players coming back and everything. So we look forward to doing this again real soon, man.
So you said something about South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. So what do you have a team in South Carolina that, you plan on following and just going to their games and, kind of supporting them during this, I guess, 7-game regular season that they've got going on?
I don't have any one specific team. I got a bunch of buddies. I got, buddies at Armo and Dutch Fork and South Point. I definitely go try to see all 3 of them play. I know Dutch Fork and South Point play at some point. I got a buddy at Ridgeview. So I'm going to definitely try to get down, just to get around some Friday night ball at some point and also go try to support those guys. I know they're going to come back up here and support me in the spring. So not so much teams, as more buddies, man. I go, check those guys out.
All right, very good, Coach. Once again, I want to thank you for coming on with us tonight. I really appreciate everything that you shared with us, and like I said, we'll see you again real soon, man.
Appreciate you, Pep. I'd love to do it again.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, you too, Coach. All right, so that was Advanced Defense Coordinator Anthony Hackett sharing with us so many insights into the Vance program, their championship run last year, some players that he expects to stand out this year, and their plan for handling, the opening up of practice with COVID-19. With CMS granting that opening starting October the 12th. All right, so let's jump into our NFL picks. We're going to start with that, and then we'll jump into the rundown after that. So we've got 4 games this week. We got the Cowboys and the Browns. 2-1 Browns, 1-2 Cowboys. Battle of 0-3 with the Jets and the Broncos. That should be a great game tomorrow night. We got the Vikings and the Texans, both also 0-3. And then for the bonus pick this week, we got the Chiefs going up against the Patriots. So we're gonna come down the line with these NFL picks. Let's start with the queen of CFI, Sheree Glenn, and see what she's got for her picks. Now, we did not pick last week. Obviously, we didn't have the show, so we didn't do a loser video this week. So Sheree's still the resident loser, but we're gonna bring her on. Give me a look in the background. Let me shut up. Here we go.
I was about to, represent my new shirt that I got, but now I don't even know if I want to do that. But anyway, first of all, congratulations to my Panthers for winning their first game last week. I know it was against a rookie quarterback, but we still won, so I'm excited. Anyway, so picking this week, we got the Browns and Cowboys up first. I just feel like Dallas, they're still trying to, get their win, play like they need to play. And I think they're going to do it this week against those boys. Next up, we got the Jets versus the Broncos. I'm going with Denver on this one. They need a win. And I think they're going to get it this week against the Jets. I'm not sure about Sam Darnold. I kind of feel bad for him almost. So we're going to see what happens with that game. And then next we have the Vikings versus the Texans. Two good 0-3 teams. But I've always been a Deshaun Watson fan. So I'm edging them out this week to win that game, the Texans, if you're not clear. And then last, we're going with the Chiefs and the Patriots. I'm honestly, with this one, I think I'm going to have to go with Kansas City. I love Cam, and I love what he's doing up in New England. And I would like to say that he's going to pull this one out. But I just think that, Pat Mahomes, he's got too much up his sleeve. I mean, the dude was counting touchdowns Sunday night. So I don't see anybody really edging them out unless it's going to be a dark horse team. I don't think it's going to be the Patriots, though. So.
All right, very good. We on record. Let's see how you gonna do this time.
Put me on record.
All right. Thank you, Queen. Much appreciated. All right. Juice Man's got something special. So y'all buckle in and settle down and get ready. Here we go.
Howdy, partner. How do? This week, on another edition of What Will the Cowboys Do? The Cowboys this week have seemingly the only other team in the league that I believe will internally combust worse than they will. So this week, for the first and only time, you will see me choose, that's right, your Dallas Cowboys. To do what? To lose. I have the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Cleveland Browns. That's right, I said it. Baker Mayfield and company. 28-21. On to our second game. A battle of just two terrible losers. But because they've got one of the best running backs in the league, I've got the Vikings beating the Texans. And also, for the Jets And the Broncos. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. The Jets are terrible. So the Jets will lose. Terribly. And for our bonus pick, because I heard what the queen of CFI said, Miss Sheree. She talked about the Patriots, but she talked so much more about the Chiefs. And I think deep down inside, she has a little bit of angst in her heart because of how terrible the Panthers are and how great Cam Newton is doing up in New England. She won't admit it, but I know she feels it. So I'm going to go directly against her and say that the only other team in the league that can probably beat the Chiefs would be the New England Patriots.
There's no angst in my heart. I am proud of Cam. I am proud of everything that Cam has done in New England. I just don't think he's got what it takes to beat Pat Mahomes. I'm just saying. I'm none.
Little lady.
Hey.
But this week,
yeah,
I got Cam.
Patriots. I got you. That's on record now. That's on record.
That's on record. Mm-hmm. But at least I do know that this week, the Panthers, let's move on. But man, back to you, my brother.
You guys, boy, 2 weeks off. We can't do that no more. All right, let's go to Brandon. Let's see what he's got for his picks. Here we go.
All right. So I'm going to start off with Broncos and Jets. And to be honest with you, I just feel like, there are quite a few 0-3 teams out there around, but I feel like if I had to pinpoint the worst team in the league, I'd probably put the Jets. So I'm going to pick the Broncos simply by, I think they both are pretty bad, but the Jets are worse. So I'm going Broncos in that first one. Dallas and Cleveland, only because it's a rebound game. As much, naturally, I don't want Dallas to ever win another game again in life. But unfortunately, I know they will. So I think just because they're coming off a loss, I'm going to go Dallas, even though, that's not where I want to go. But I just Dallas just finds a way sometimes. They get lucky. Vikings and Texans, similar to what Sheree said, I think Deshaun is the X factor. So I'm going to go Texans on this one. I just think that he'll give them that slight edge that they need. He's a dynamic quarterback. Going Texas in that one. Bonus game, I'm going to go Chiefs simply because the Chiefs are just clicking on all cylinders right now. They're the defending champs for a reason. Pat Mahomes is on another level. He's got Tyreek Hill amongst other weapons. And I just think they're just clicking on all cylinders right now, especially on offense. And although I do admire, how the Patriots are playing, Cam is doing his thing right now. Cam is, he's made that transition well. So, but I got to go Chiefs. I just don't think there's anyone yet that I can see right now that can definitively beat the Chiefs and match up with them right now. So, got to go Chiefs in that last one.
Well said, sir. Well said. Excellent. Excellent. Not wanting the Cowboys to win for life is pretty strong. I like it though. I like it. All right, let's go to Kenny McClamrock and get his picks right here. Here we go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Pep, I don't know how you came up with this slate of games because these are some awful games that you gave us to choose from. Number one, we've got the Broncos and the Jets. Good night. Can it be any worse than that? I'm going to agree with the consensus so far. The Jets are awful. So I'm choosing the Broncos to finally get in the win column. The Broncos will win their first game. A couple of weeks ago, I chose for the second game, I chose the Browns, which I never thought that I would do. I said I cannot stand Baker Mayfield, but I also hate the Cowboys even more. So with that being said, I've got the Browns over the Cowboys. I think it's going to be by about 7 points. I've got the Broncos over the Jets. I think it's going to be a close 3-point game, give or take. And then I've got the Vikings versus the Texans. Deshaun Watson, man, I can't go against him. I've got the Texans up by 6 in this. I think 2 field goals are going to be the difference. And then in the extra point, the bonus game, man, I'll tell you what, Unlike the Queen, I'm sorry, Queen, I got to call you out because his mama called out Monday Night Football announcers. Patrick Mahomes, I think that he is maybe going to retire as the greatest quarterback that has ever played this game. The things that he does is just incredible. Parents, if you want your sons to grow up to be a quarterback one day, put them boys in baseball, put them playing shortstop and second base so they can learn to throw from all different angles and launch points. I'll tell you what, I don't know if the Chiefs, they may run the table. I know that's a big statement to make this early in the season, but I know Bill Belichick is wringing his head right now. He has no clue what he's going to do versus Patrick Mahomes. I got the Chiefs over New England.
Good deal, Coach. Very good. Very good stuff, man. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, breaking down my picks, going last. I hear everyone's explanations. Everybody did a good job explaining their stuff. First one, Broncos-Jets, the worst Thursday night football game ever in life. I don't know what kind of ratings that's going to get, but I'm going with the Jets because Denver is down to some guy. I don't even know who their quarterback is. They had Driscoll, and then he got hurt or taken out. So they're down in their third string quarterback already. And I know the Jets are terrible. I know Adam Gase is a bad coach. They don't want to play for him, but they ain't going. They just got more talent at this point, and sometimes that's enough to win you a game. I don't think the Jets are 0-16 terrible. I think they just need some motivation in that program. And then, sometimes the talent's just going to win out. I'm betting on the talent with the Jets there. Browns, Cowboys, I'm with you, Coach. I don't like Baker Mayfield either. I don't like the Cowboys. These are two teams that I just can't stand. I can't stand anything from the city of Cleveland itself. I had a really bad person I was involved in a relationship with for a long time from Cleveland. I can't stand the city. It's terrible. It's ugly. There's nothing that's ever good come from Cleveland, including that guy playing tonight in the finals at 9 o'clock. But all that being said, I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I see you, Sheree. That's fine. That's fine. Texans and the Vikings. The way the Vikings lost last week to Tennessee, I think is just a kill shot, for your confidence for your season. Both teams will be desperate, but the Texans at home with Deshaun Watson, I can't bet against him going 0-4 to that Vikings team. So I'm going to go with the Texans there. And then Chiefs Patriots in the bonus game. I'm sorry. I got to go with the Chiefs. I am a Cam Newton fan. I love his game. Obviously, I loved him when he was with the Panthers. I love that he's doing great stuff in New England, good gracious. And I love his little meme that's out there now with him sliding down. I would try to mimic that, but then it'd take me a while to get back up. I'm a big man, so I can't mimic that meme. But still, I would go with the Chiefs over the Patriots in that matchup. So those are our NFL picks. The loser of the week next week will get a special video. We may do a video for the winner of the week. We'll see, what we'll do about that. But thank you guys so much for sticking with us through that NFL pick segment. We're going to go into the rundown now. We got a couple topics in the rundown tonight. First off, South Carolina football started week 1 last Friday night. Me and Brandon, I'm going to bring the crew in for this. We're going to do a kind of a group discussion on this, so let's bring everybody in. Okay. So South Carolina had week 1 start last Friday night. Me and Brandon went down to Nation Ford, checked out Nation Ford hosting Fort Mill. Nation Ford won that game 45-20. We saw a few other games going on throughout the South Carolina area that were pretty good. Some teams winning some games. Some teams winning games I didn't expect them to win. You guys have any thoughts on – we're going to pull Brandon out here just for a second. He's moving around. But you guys have any thoughts on the South Carolina games that kicked off week 1? Some scores, any kind of impressions or anything like that? Oh, somebody had some impression back there.
My fault.
Well, you good. You're good, Coach.
So I will say, I'm gonna say salute Coach Graham down at North Myrtle Beach. My guy, Coach Graham, man, and a great first weekend win down in North Myrtle Beach, man. I think they had their first game against Red Fox high school. I'm not very, very familiar with that school, but salute Coach Graham. And you say that one more time? Three, say that one more time?
I don't think we had anything, Coach.
Oh, I thought she said something. My bad. But but salute Coach Graham and them down there at North Myrtle Beach for getting the Week 1 W. Outside of that, man, I paid attention to just that right across the border area, man. It looked like it was some great high school football. Had a conversation with you, Pep, man, behind the scenes on something that was interesting. But for the most part, man, I saw some really good stuff, man. I'm going to get a chance to go down there at some point to go check out Dutch Fork. I think it was Coach McFadden that told me about the facilities and things down there, man. I just want to go down there and check them out. You know, obviously, I know South Carolina football is a high grade of football regardless. So I want to go down there and check them out. I didn't get a chance to really pay a lot of attention to Week 1, but I did want to shout out Coach Graham, man, in that first week W down there in North Myrtle Beach, man. So that's my take, man. I'm out. I'm gonna bail out on this.
Very good, very good. I know, in Week 1 there were some teams that I don't think played Week 1. I don't know if it was a full slate of games, but they've only got 7 games scheduled. So the big thing is you got to come out the gate strong down there if you want to make an impression and get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna talk more about our game, Fort Mill and Nathan Ford, later on in the show. CMS football starting back workouts on October 12th. We mentioned it a little bit with Coach Hackett with their plan on getting the pods together, the coaches staying with their pods, things of that nature. What are our general thoughts on CMS football coming back?
Oh, shoot, I jump in there on that one too, man. I'm excited, man. I really am, man. I'm excited. I hate that, my plan was to kind of go around, obviously, with this, with me being kind of, I guess I would say I'm retired out of the coaching game right now. And, I was looking forward to, obviously, in this season when I decided to kind of step away from the game last year, that, I was going to get a chance to go around and see some practices and see some things. Obviously, that won't happen because of COVID. We just had some announcements that just came down from the state. We probably talk about it a little bit later on in the show. But I'm excited, man. It's like early Christmas, man. I know those kids are excited. And you guys got a good bit of time, man. You got a good bit of time between now and when the season starts, man. October start date for workouts is an incredible start date, man. I know some coaches are going to try to find some ways to extend that time and try to find some, some successful ways that are by the book, that are by the rules, because I know all of the coaches are going to follow the rules. But they're going to find as many ways possible to be able to continue to develop these kids. And this is what traditionally we would call that skill development time. So I'm excited to see what's going to come out of this, man, simultaneously while some of the big programs across the state are continuing to develop what they have going on. I wonder how much, install has been able to be going on right now with kids being in school. So we'll see, man. I'm excited, man. I really am. And I'm excited to see how the coaches are going to split it up, offense, defense, special teams, get your install in while also getting your skill development in. I'm excited.
I agree. I'm excited too. It's a unique new thing that we're gonna have so much time between now and then when the season starts in February. It like Coach Hackett said, it does feel weird. I mean, this is a time where you're typically in the throes of getting ready for conference ball and battling for a state championship. So. Just everyone to have to readjust their clock and the way of thinking and how they're doing things. We have to go by the book, and everyone's got to have their supplies together and do the temperature checks and, all that kind of stuff, man. It's a lot, but I know everyone's excited to be together as a team. That's the biggest thing out here that, everyone's been doing some kind of football-related activity, whether it's a camp, whether it's your private workout, whether you're just lifting weights, whether you're running. I think that part of it, for most kids has been getting done in some form of fashion. But the camaraderie of coming together and building things together as a team, I think is the best part of, having a definitive workout time. Coaches can go in and do their planning, set their schedules. Most head coaches are type A where they want to do this at this time and that time. And I was crazy trying to figure out, exactly what we're going to do. Are we going to lose kids because they want to play now? All those different things. Are we losing seniors to graduation early and going on to college? Like, Coach Hackett said, losing Power Eccles. You have to plan for all those different things. So it's good to just be focusing now on having a definitive date when workouts start, having a definitive date when we're going to have the season start, and then just working through it together. That's the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to, and looking forward to visiting some schools, because we haven't really done that because we didn't know, exactly what the plan was going to be, what we're allowed to do, things of that nature. So really excited to really kind of get things started, to be honest with you. We kind of had a false start in the summer, and now we're really getting it started now in October 12th. So that's awesome to see. All right, last thing I want to mention on the rundown, I'm going to bring everyone back in. We've got – go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, I think you hit on some really good things, Pep. I just wanted really quickly, I think that the thing that's going to separate the great teams from the good teams and the good teams from the bad teams is going to be how the kids respond to this mentally. Usually there's this time frame that kids have in their hair. The season ends in November or December if you're a really good team, and then you take a couple of weeks off and you have Christmas break, and then you come back and you take exams. Then after exams, you start getting back rolling a couple of days, a week after school lifted, and then as it warms up, you start to go outside and you run a little bit and you start to do some skill development. And then there's this build up for spring football that begins, and then you got summer ball and all that kind of stuff. But there's been such a lag now from November or even December until now. There's been so many highs, and we're getting ready to start, and then the state pushes it back, and we're getting ready to start, and then the county pushes it back, and we're getting ready to start, and now we don't know what we're going to do. It's really going to come down to which teams, which coaching staffs are going to be able to get their kids mentally prepared the most. I used to tell my teams there are two types of toughness. There's a physical toughness that determines, that tells you what you're capable of doing, what you can do, that physical toughness. But then there's a mental toughness that determines whether you're going to be able to do it or not. And so for right now, it's going to be these kids who haven't done anything for 9 months to all of a sudden get back into it. And it's not going to be as the weather's warming up. And so the weather's warming up and you're feeling good and you can't wait to get outside with your friends. Now it's going to be getting cooler outside. And so now after an all day of school, when you've been kind of staying at home in your bed on your laptop, and you're going to be tired, and now all of a sudden you got to go outside when it's a little bit chilly, and maybe I don't really want to work out. And then you got guys that are going to be playing basketball and be playing other sports as well. It's going to be such a unique mix for what's going on. And I think the coaches who are going to be able to rein in their kids from the mental aspect are going to see the best games throughout these next couple of months, leading into the spring ball that starts when it's still cold outside. One last thing, and sorry, Pep, and I think the last big piece that I don't know if a whole lot of people's talking about right now, if I'm being honest, and that's academics. There are a lot of students right now, trust me, I know, there are a lot of students who are not doing their work right now. And there are a lot of students that if the semester or the quarter ended right now, whichever it is from county to county, that right now would not be eligible to play athletics. And I'm afraid that we're going to lose a bunch of kids because they have performed so poorly these first 2 months of school that they're going to put themselves in such a hole that they may not be academically eligible come football season.
It's a very, very good point right there. Very good point. And I think we can touch on that a little more a little later on as well. Last thing I want to mention in the rundown real quick. In Arkansas, I found an article on Football Scoop. There's a COVID-19 cover-up case where a high school football coach allegedly told kids to be dishonest about being exposed to COVID-19. There seems to be a lot of support for this coach still, thinking that, there's some kind of misunderstanding coming. But, in general, guys, what are your thoughts on something like that?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's like, how do we've already put ourselves, in this position to where we're having to, monitor everybody with this, this, I guess, disease going on. And then you have this guy who wants to cover it up. And I mean, what even for? There was I read something the other day about a healthy kid who I think went to like NC State or something like that, and he died from COVID. So it's like, you see stuff like that, and it's just like, why would you even want to put people in that position, especially these younger kids? And I mean, for what though? And then it's like you have people that support that. So it's like, what really are we, is football that important? Is this stuff so important to us that we're willing to lie and like hide these situations from people? Like, I don't understand that. Somebody help me understand that.
Nah, there's no way to justify that. There's no justification for that. And at the end of the day, it just pretty much exemplifies one of the major problems in the sports world, where coaches and certain organizations just place sports. They place the football over kids' lives and make it more important. That should never be the case. The football and winning games should never be more important than kids' well-being, and that's exactly what their coach did. So how anyone can still support him, not me, but no, there's no justification for that.
Pep, I've got on, I don't know if you guys can see or not, but I got a shout out to my boy Chris Farley with a shirt on here. He was in a movie called Tommy Boy, and then there's a scene where his dad's talking, and he says, I can get a good look at a T-bone by sticking my head up the cow's butt, but I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. And this is what it is. Like, we don't want to have to go around and check on coaches to make sure they're playing by the rules. And all it takes is one coach to screw this up. All it takes is one coach to lie, one coach to say the wrong thing, and for a kid to get sick, for a kid, something to happen to him, God forbid. And this whole thing is going to be ruined for everybody. So coaches, man, play by the rules. Coaches, the rules are in place for a reason. They're in place to protect you. They're in place, more importantly, to protect your student athletes. You wouldn't take your best senior football player and put him up against, in a one-on-one drill, your worst JV freshman. We've got to be smart about this. The state, the county, the athletic directors have to be able to take the words of their coaches. Please do this right. Please, if you want to have football, if you want to have a shot at having a season this year, you have got to do things the right way. You've got to play by the rules. You've got to stick tight to those mandates, 50 people, the temperature checks, whatever else that your county has in place. We got to play by the rules so that everyone can be safe and that we can have a season this year, or else all this is in vain.
Yeah, man. When I read it, I couldn't believe it. I mean, like you said, Sheree, Brandon, Ken, I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. If you're lucky enough to be getting tested on a regular basis on the high school level, and that you have exposures on your team, I think the rule here in North Carolina is it's a mandatory 2-week sit for everybody, so everyone can, let the virus pass, do the contact tracing and all that. I can't. I hope I don't know a coach. I don't think I do, but I hope I don't know a coach that would do something like that. I mean, it's just not worth it. At the end of the day, football is a game. It's a vessel for these young men to, progress in their lives, and that's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yep.
All right. So
I heard something. I heard something a long time ago that the name coach came from the old days, the old Western days, and it came from the word stagecoach. And a stagecoach was someone that brought people from point A to point B. And that our job as a coach is to bring young boys, 13, 14-year-old kids, when they get to us, and to help turn them into young men. And if we're doing things like that, I mean, unethical things, immoral things, teaching kids to lie, heaven forbid, man. There is no worse damage that could ever be done in the coaching world than a coach who teaches their young athletes to lie and to try to skirt the system. Hopefully this story out of Arkansas, I believe, is not true. Yeah. And hopefully I believe that our coaches around here will be a lot better about that.
I agree with you, Coach. Absolutely. I agree. All right. So let's jump into everyone's favorite segment in the world. That is the Sound Off segment on CFI Football Focus Weekly. It used to be our only segment. Now we've probably got 900 segments, but it's still my favorite. It's because you get to hear the real talk from everyone on the show. And when we do Sound Off, we always lead off with the Juice Man. He's had 2 weeks. I know he's going to bring the juice. Let's see what he's got to say.
Juice Man in the building, baby. Juice Man in the building. And you know what, Pep Man, you right. I've had 2 weeks, and I've pondered for 2 weeks on what do I want the sound off to be about when I come back. I got the shivers and the shakes where I was like, oh. But you know what? Around about 11 o'clock Saturday night, I ended up getting my sound off. And it came by way of my brother who is not here tonight, Coach Billups. Much love, my brother. But he shot a tweet. He was a little wrong on the tweet, but it sent me in a direction. Now, ESPN, and I get it. I understand. There's not a lot of football right now that you can cover. But ESPN decided on Saturday that they were going to go do College Game Day for the Florida State and Miami game. Had everybody all excited. Oh, what? Well, let's see what happens. And my sound off tonight is going to go to Florida State University. Woo! The most points scored against them in that rivalry, not this year, not this decade, not this century, ever. 52. And in case those who don't understand Ebonics, because I speak a little bit, if you ever seen the movie Shaft, Tiger Woods, that's why I say that. 52. They put 52 on Florida State. Miami. Boy, they look good. So my sound off goes to Florida State. What are y'all doing, man? I'm all on the Twitter feed. I'm listening to different people. They still trying to blame Coach Taggart. That man over in Boca Raton now sipping pina coladas. He ain't even thinking about that. They still trying to blame Blackman, James Blackman. You already know what you got in Blackman. You ain't got nothing behind them that's gonna make that would have made that situation better. You can try to blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. But I'm gonna blame it on the alumni, the board, the athletic director, and the community. That is a perfect example of what happens when people who don't know nothing about football, don't know nothing about ball, ain't never coached, they rode the bench on the JV team at their high school, got every 5 cent, 10 cent to say because they cut the check. And now Florida State, who used to be you ask anybody in my family, they know. I grew up a Florida State fan my entire life. I started with exactly what Miz was talking about. Deion, prime time is the reason why I became a Florida State fan. But I disowned Florida State. And look at where we are now. I'm just so disconcerted, like Bernie Mac used to say. I'm disconcerted, like Bernie Mac used to say. Rest in peace. Florida State got to figure it out, man. Or you get ready to become the laughing stock of the ACC because you got NC State on that side that's rolling. You got Louisville on that side that's rolling. You got Miami rolling. And obviously Clemson. We're going to see. But my sound off for this week is them disgusting Florida State Seminoles. And Billups, don't ever say I'm a Florida State fan again. They done. I'm out.
Juice, we got the college football segment for you coming up, and I can't wait to expand on everything that you just said right there. That's going to be a lot of fun. Me too, Pep. So we got a request. Yeah, exactly. We got a request, but someone wanted to go right after you, so I can't wait to see what this person has to say, and we're going to bring him on. There we go.
All right, it's not exactly my sound off topic per se, but as a, I guess I'm the second Florida State fan on the show. It has been a rough couple of years, but I guess the Seminoles is lucky to be in Florida, a hotbed of talent, and it's on a little dip or quite a huge dip right now. I can't even say a little dip, but just gotta ride this out. I refuse to ever be a bandwagon jumper. It has been rough right now, but I think if you're gonna be somewhere in this situation, at least be in Florida. So I'll never say done though. But as far as my sound off goes, I'm gonna keep it real quick. And I get me and Pep kind of had a quick discussion about this at the game the other week about people in masks and how some people will be in a store with a mask on. So my sound off is about masks. Maybe someone out there can answer it, but we always notice, and Batman noticed it too, people will have on masks, but then they'll have it hanging off their face or tuck the whole mask under their chin. So my question to the world is, why have it on? I mean, it's not doing anything. I mean, I guess if you have a beard, maybe you're protecting your beard from coronavirus, but you're not protecting the rest of you. Or some people just tuck it under their nose, which you can still inhale it. So you might as well just not have it on at that point. And then you have people who ride in cars alone with a mask on. So are you protecting yourself from giving yourself corona, or want to keep the coronavirus from circulating in the car ventilation? I don't know, but you do see that. You'll see someone driving down the road with the mask on by themselves. Just kind of questions. Maybe there's some answers out there, but I don't have them. So just a nice little quick sound off. But those Seminoles.
Man, we talked about this at Nation 4, and I told Brandon, I said, you got to save this for sound off because the world has to tell us. I don't get it either. I don't get it. And, part of my real job is enforcing people wearing masks. And, it's a real conundrum, as, a scholar would say. So thank you for bringing that to light. We'll put it out there on Twitter and the social media world, and maybe we'll get an answer on that. But now let's go to the queen of CFI, Sheree Glenn. And I have a feeling, I think I know what she's going to talk about on Sound Off. And I'm going to regretfully go to her and listen to this.
NBA Finals starts tonight. My Sound Off for the rest of the league. We putting y'all on notice. LeBron about to get this championship in LA. I'm taking it 4-2. I'll give Miami 2 games, but I guarantee you that by the time LeBron exits the league, he will be the greatest. I don't care what anybody says. You can argue me on it. We can go back and forth. You can DM me. I got Twitter. I got Instagram. However you want to do it, come see me, because LeBron will be the greatest by the time he leaves the Lakers. That's my sound off.
With Football Focus Weekly's going against the NBA Finals, I knew it was going to be a rough ratings night. I knew we're not going to get our market share, so to speak. But there's still 10 of you watching. And to you 10, I just want to say I love you. Because you could be watching the pregame of the finals right now. You could be, watching Major League Baseball playoffs. You could be watching NFL highlights on ESPN2. But no, you chose to sit down and watch Football Focus Weekly, and you are the reason why we do this. So that went down to 9, so let me shut up. Let's go to Kenny McLaren. Get his sound off right quick.
I gotta before I get on my sound off, I gotta address 2 sound offs already. The first one is Brandon, man. When I see people driving down the road in their car by themselves with a mask on, I always figure that they were trolling the people who said they can't wear a mask for 10 minutes when they go into Food Line because they can't breathe. Get the heck out of here. I just figured they're making fun of those people. And then I got to shout out my dude, man, Coach Moore, Mizzle. Me and old Coach Moore, we go back a long time. Coach Moore played for me when I coached at North Mecklenburg. He was my quarterback on JV. He played my inside slot receiver on varsity. But Coach Moore said that Florida State needs Deion Sanders. You know who's happy that Deion Sanders is now a head football coach in Division I football? Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Grambling State, Mississippi Valley State, Southern, Alcorn State. Those schools are happy that Deion Sanders is now a head football coach because they are getting ready to drill Jackson State coming up in the next season. But my sound off is Pep, man. I know we kind of have an unwritten rule. We don't really go into politics, man, but let me tell you something. So I've got 7-year-old twin boys. They're awesome kids, man. My wife does a great job raising them boys. They're great kids. I love them with all my heart. And we've been telling them, about the importance of our presidential election. We've been talking about America and the founding of America and what a president is and who our presidents are. I mean, when these dudes were like 3 years old, they could recite all 45 presidents from memory. Like, this is something that's really, really important to us. And so last night, my wife and I were talking about the presidential debate being up, and my two little boys asked if they could watch it with us. Now, their bedtime is normally way before 9 p.m., but because it was kind of a historic occasion, because they're into YouTube and all these presidential commercials are always popping up on YouTube, and the boys can basically quote them back and forth to one another, we agreed to allow them to stay up and watch the presidential debate. And there was something seriously wrong inside my head, because I believed that the boys were about to see something that was really, really neat, that would be impressionable on them, that they could really say, man, I'm so proud to be an American. This is what our country looks like. This is what our government looks like. And then the debate started, man, and it looked like two old men arguing at the retirement home over a game of croquet. It looked like two angry men who were yelling at the teenagers on Halloween to get off my lawn. What in the world did I witness? My boys stayed up, and what they saw was two men acting like they were 7-year-old boys, screaming and hollering about who's got the remote to the television, man. I cannot believe what I watched last night. I cannot believe what I allowed my children to stay up past their bedtime to see last night. Man, it was really, 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 it was, I don't know, Pep. I can't even describe what I saw. I can't even describe how frustrating it was, how frustrating America has to be right now, that these are the candidates that we have in front of us, that they spent more time trying to scream over one another. They spent more time trying to criticize each other and their families. They spent more time cussing and telling each other to shut up. When in a presidential election has anyone ever said, shut up? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Really disappointed in last night's presidential debates. I know that has nothing to do with this show, but I had to get that off my chest. That's my sound off for tonight, Pep.
Hey, man, you stole some of my thunder, because my sound off is going to be on 3 topics, actually, and the debate was one of them. I mean, I'll start with that since you brought it up, Ken. I have my political beliefs, and I know everyone does, but at the end of the day, is this the best we can do? I mean, really? I mean, we got some great, leaders of cities and mayors and governors, and I think there's some people that do really great jobs across the whole United States. I mean, you just look at the way the coronavirus was handled. It was left up to the states, and there were some people that had to step up, and they had to take charge, and they had to make some tough decisions. But at the end of the day, is this really the best we can do? I mean, things have gotten so polarized to the extreme on both sides. The thing that I miss is the middle ground, the compromise. It just seems like we've lost all of that, in terms of politics. And I see some comments there, and I agree, with what you're saying there. I mean, it's just bad, man. It's just bad. I don't get it. The second thing I want to talk about is a serious topic, because, there's a lot going on in the world right now. I mean, we've got COVID-19. We've got these wildfires raging in the West. We've got earthquakes happening. We've got financial stress because of COVID-19. We got people losing jobs, and a lot of things bear out of that. The biggest thing I want to talk about is, if you don't feel right, if you feel stressed out, you feel like you can't go on, talk to somebody, man. I say this all the time. The worst thing in this world is feeling like you're alone and you have to deal with so many stressful things by yourself. I mean, there's got to be, someone there, even if it's EAP through your job. Just find a way to talk to someone and get out all the frustrations that you're going through. Because without that, man, I don't know if a lot of people are going to make it, because I mean, it's really getting real. I work in an industry where a lot of people lost their jobs. I'm blessed to still have mine. I'm totally blessed, but it's hard, man. It's hard for a lot of people, a lot of families that don't know what's going to happen next. They don't know where the next check is coming from. They don't know how they're going to feed their kids. It's hard. It is real stuff out here. And if you're in a blessed position to be able to, give into someone, whether it's just listening to them or even provide, some kind of support for them, you got to do that stuff as an American and as just a good person, man. You got to be able to help each other through this stuff. Because, I don't think it's going to last forever. But right now, this is the hardest stuff a lot of us has dealt with in our lives. And we got to support each other and pull each other through. Last thing I want to talk about is not that heavy, but the Atlanta Braves. My gosh. I've been a Braves fan for as long as I can remember. That was the first team I loved as a kid. Because it used to come on TBS. We used to sit there in the living room, me and my brother. We watched it on our little 13-inch color TV with our dad. Our dad was a baseball manager, and he would sit there and debate what Bobby Cox was doing, and some of the best memories of my life. But the Braves have let me down so many times since 1995 when they won the World Series. And here we go, game one. They're at home playing the Cincinnati Reds, and I'm sitting there today trying to listen to it. It's 0-0 for 12 and a half innings. 0-0. The Braves had the best offense in baseball and can't put up a run for 12 innings. Now, granted, they won the game in the 13th inning. Thank God Freddie Freeman came through. But is anything easy as a Braves fan? I don't think anything's easy. It's just stressful as hell. I don't know. Why do they make it so hard? They got all this talent. Everyone's striking out all the time. Thank goodness the bullpen didn't blow it. I was just waiting for that to happen. But Sheree, you're gonna be feeling like this too when your Lakers lose tonight. I don't know why you're looking like that. But anyway. That's the end of sound off. All right. We got a couple comments. Let's see. We got some comments on here. Let's see, Coach Bird, we were talking about, the ratings and the NBA finals going up against us. He said, all respect supporting dope people. That's why we love you, Coach Bird. That's why we love Hopewell High School. We got some other comments on political stuff I'm going to leave alone. But I tell you, I understand it. Trust me, I understand. But, it's not political focus weekly. It's football focus weekly. So we may start a new show talking about that. But so here's what we got now. So we're going to give everyone a chance to kind of branch off a little bit and do something that, they have a passion for. Everyone's going to kind of get their own segment here on the show. So we're going to introduce those tonight. It's a good night to do it. We ain't got a lot of people watching, so if we mess up, it's all good. All right, so we're going to start with the first segment. Let's go with Sheree. We're going to go with the Queen of CFI. We're going to bring her in. I'm going to do a dual screen with her, and we're going to call this segment Ask Sheree. So basically, I've got some questions here that people have asked me about Sheree, and we're going to ask her blind. And we're going to get her raw response. She is so scared right now. We're going to get her raw response to these questions. And trust me, it's going to be entertaining. So here we go. All right, Sheree, you got your own mute.
I'm as ready as I'm
There
going
we
to
go.
be.
All right, this is going to be fun. I'm excited. We are friends in real life, so she may cuss me out after this, but that's okay. That's all right.
I would never.
All right, so the first question that I've got for you, Sheree, and these are real questions that have been asked to me when I've been out and about.
Okay.
A listener and reader, or watcher, I should say, wanted me to ask you, what made you want to get into reporting about sports?
Well, so it was actually when I was working at Fox and Hound in downtown Charlotte when I started at like 21 or 22. And just there was always sports around me, and not that I didn't grow up around sports because I had 3 brothers. And so quite naturally, they all played football. They all played basketball. I played basketball. So sports was just kind of always in my family. But while I was working at Fox and Hound, like I used to always do little things. Like I would number 1 through 32, and I would like list all of the quarterbacks on all the teams, and then I would list like all the top receivers on all the teams, and like it just kind of became a thing. And then I just really started getting into the Panthers like really hardcore. And I don't know, like it kind of grew from there. And then I started watching Jemele Hill, who she was the host of His and Hers. And then she did SC6 for a little bit. And I fell in love with her. I really did. Everything about her, you know, and I said, that's what I want to do. I was like, I want to debate sports. I want to talk sports. Like I want to be around sports. And it actually wasn't until I started calling football at Harding that I found a true love for high school football. So like, it just kind of all came full circle that way. And I mean, I don't regret any of it. I love it, you know, and I'll do it till I can't do it anymore.
I'm gonna tell you the greatest thing I remember. You mentioned calling football Harding. I remember one of the playoff games. You were screaming so loud on the mic. I think you about busted the speaker.
I might have. Listen, if you ever get a chance to watch Quavaris Crouch, and I know you did for a long time, Matt, but that boy was, he was just off the chain. And like, it was easy. Like, you know, you take off 20, 30, 50, 60 yards. It's easy to Quavaris Crouch. Touchdown. Like it just he got me hyped. He got me hyped every single game. I promise you. Yeah,
that was awesome. I was like, I gotta get to know that chick. It's cool. All right, so another watcher, a different person, wanted me to ask you: does being a female in a male-dominated industry make it easier or harder for you?
I think it makes it easier because, you know, I'm kind of, I guess, the easier on the eyes type, but I'm also tomboyish, so I'm not too like far out from you. I kind of feel equal to you guys. Like I really do. And, you know, I learn a lot from y'all. And I think that it's cool to kind of get my perspective on it. So I think we kind of balance each other out. You know, I'm never intimidated by any of the guys that I talk to. You know, you guys always make me feel welcome. So, I mean, for me, I wouldn't say it was hard. I'd say it's easy.
Great. And you know, you mentioned the easy on the eyes part. I'm not going to ask you. I'll ask you that off camera. But you know, I had some other inquiries about you. But
okay.
Say it. Okay. All right. You know I say it. But I ain't gonna.
Hey, man. You know me too. You know I answer. Choose your questions wisely.
All right. Oh yeah, I know. All right, our third question that I have, and it's the final one that I have. If you're watching, feel free to post the question to Sheree, and you can ask her directly that way as well. And I know this one, but who are your favorite teams in the NBA and NFL?
So, okay, let me just preface it with saying this. I am born and raised in Charlotte. So, therefore, I am a Charlotte Hornets fan, and I'm definitely a Carolina Panthers fan. Now, having said that, LeBron James is my favorite player. He is the reason why I started watching the NBA again. And, you know, I really want to cheer for the Hornets hardcore. And like when Kemba Walker was there, I cheered for them. You know, when they were the Bobcats, I was at the game sitting lower level cheering for those boys. I had hats, I had jerseys, I had it all.
That was you could get free lower level tickets when the Bobcats were there. I know.
Exactly. You know, don't call me out. But anyway, like, you know, I love the Hornets. I do. And I will always be a hometown girl. Like, even if I ever left Charlotte will always be my home. I'll always cheer for Charlotte teams. But it's just hard to do. But yes, I am a LeBron James fan. Wherever he goes, I go. So, you know, I was a Cavs fan the first and second time. I was a Heat fan. I'm a Lakers fan now. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm really not. And, you know, at the end of his career, I'm probably going to end up writing his little autobiography. So, you know, stay tuned for that. But yeah, so those are my teams.
Oh, we got a comment. Oh, boy. Let's see. Oh, Mr. Moss.
Yes. Yes. And if you want
I disagree.
All the information where you can contact me, we can have this discussion off camera. But yes.
Let's have it. Let's have it. Because Michael Jordan is the greatest. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing.
Michael Jordan is the greatest.
Here's the thing that people need to understand. Michael Jordan was the greatest because he was the first to do a lot of things for our league. But as far as what LeBron has done on several teams, and with a lot less sometimes, and somebody even pointed this out on Twitter because we had a whole conversation on Twitter about this yesterday. He was like, if you give Mike the team that LeBron had in 2007, what do you think he would have done with that team? Nothing. He would have done
the 1991 Bulls. The 91 Bulls. Bill Cartwright.
You know,
John Paxson.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying.
Bill Winnington.
But that's what
Terrible.
I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, but so to me, it's just like, you know, I just feel like LeBron was given a lot less sometimes and was still expected to do great things. And like, they just, I don't know. I feel like because Mike was the first to do it, you know, it's like he's automatically put as the greatest. And I'm not saying that he's not great. I'm not saying that he didn't do a lot. He won 6 championships. You know what I mean? Like, and it was 3 back-to-back. It was 2 back-to-back. So, I mean, I get that. But I just, you know, to me, LeBron is just the greatest and will be the greatest.
Okay, here's my question.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Now you got a supporter. Let me put her up here. There you go.
Thank you, Gabby.
You got a supporter. All right. But here's my question.
All right.
What could LeBron James have survived the late 80s, early 90s bad boy Pistons?
I don't know.
Hell no.
Hell
no is the answer. No way.
Because I feel like LeBron just has that grit. Now, some of the people
Hold on. What didn't the Lakers file a complaint with the NBA talking about he wasn't getting enough foul calls? Did Michael Jordan do that? Hell no.
He got him.
There's no way LeBron. He wouldn't survive the Pistons. Ain't no way. That's why Michael Jordan's the greatest.
I'm gonna get off LeBron. Like I said.
Anyway. All right. So Sheree's over. I won. I'm just messing with you. That was fun. So anyone watching, submit your questions for Sheree. We'll do this every week, and we will make it a little more about high school football. But, you know, for the first time, we wanted to, you know, kind of get, you know, a feel for it. So that was cool. All right. So now we've got our next segment. And I'm excited for this one because we touched on it a little bit, and you could hear the passion in his voice talking about it. We're going to do the Juice Man's college football update. So we're going to give it to the Juice Man, and he's going to talk a little bit about college football, and then we all going to jump in when we feel like we need to jump in. So here we go. You're on mute, Juice.
My bad. Fumble on first down. Got the ball back. Time to move the stick. All right. Listen, what I am going to make as a reasonable proposition every week when I do these college football updates, the beautiful thing is we'll get this from the fall and we'll get it in the spring as well with FCS football being in place starting in the spring. So right now, focused on the Power 5. First off, I'm going to start off saying salute the Pac-12 for coming out and deciding to join the party. The Big Ten obviously did it a few weeks prior to. Salute them as well. I've been a fan of Power 5 playing right now. I just didn't want FCS or HBCU football playing right now. I wanted there to be an opportunity for there to be a larger light shined on HBCU football, and you'll get that now coming into the spring. Right now with the Power 5 and the Group of 5 conferences playing right now, they're getting all the energy and all of the attention that they need. And I think that's great. I also kind of, cynically in the back of my head, I think this is somewhat of a guinea pig operation where we get a chance to kind of see what it would look like for the FBS to play in the fall and the FCS to play in the spring. I don't know if that'll ever actually happen, but a kid can dream. Nonetheless, what you'll get every single week from me on these college football updates, I'll always start off with my top 5. The 5 best teams in the country that I have rated currently right now. I'll go from 5 and then end up at 1. And then I'll give you some people that I have on my Heisman watch as well. I'll try to keep it down to 3 players. So let's go into my top 5. Juice Man's top 5. All right, at number 5, I know that the AP poll has Notre Dame at number 5. They have lost their ever-loving mind putting Notre Dame at number 5. AP is tripping. The Associated Press is tripping. For those who don't know what AP means, it means the Associated Press. They have lost their ever-loving mind. At number 5, I have Miami. De'Aaron King, and I'll get into that in a little bit about when I talk about my Heisman watch. Miami is the real deal, man. They're the real deal. I got Miami at 5. At number 4, I have Florida at number 4. They looked really good this week. The quarterback play was really strong. That tight end that they have is incredible. I think he had 3 touchdowns Saturday. He looked really good. At number 3, I've got Bama. All right. Only reason why I got Bama at 3 is because I haven't seen enough yet. I just got to see a little bit more from Bama. At number 2, I've got Georgia. I've got Georgia at 2. I think that Georgia looked really good Saturday. I think that the defense is for real this year, and we'll see if Kirby can be able to make that jump. And at number 1, I've got Clemson. Clemson's number 1 team in the country right now. They're clicking on all cylinders. Trevor Lawrence is playing incredible, and I'll talk about him right now as it pertains to my Heisman watch. So at number 3 on my Heisman watch, I have De'Aaron King at number 3 on my Heisman watch. Incredible kid, obviously came from the Houston program. I studied him a lot when he was at Houston. He was there with an incredible offensive mind. He had a head coach that was a great offensive mind. An offensive coordinator that was a great offensive mind. The offensive coordinator ended up going to Florida State. I thought he was going to do something in Florida State. He did. Let's move on. Number 2, I have and will not remove him until they play their first game and I see what he's going to look like. I still got Justin Fields at number 2. And it's going to be hard for anybody to convince me to move Justin Fields from number 2. Until I see if he come out, week 1 when they play at the end of toward the end of October, if he comes out rusty, then I'll move him. And then at number 1 right now, obviously, the blonde, I got to come up with a name for him, but the blonde assassin, the streaky, the very, very high level quarterback, a great amount of intelligence, has a obviously exceptional level of mechanics, can be able to make the play. If we still had the film session going on, I would love to break down Clemson's offense, and I may do that on my own one day and do like a Zoom call with some coaches, and we talk about what I've seen this kid do. But at number 1, Trevor Lawrence, man, this kid is incredible. Trevor Lawrence is incredible. And so if I run it back, I got 3. I got De'Aaron King at 3. I got Justin Fields still at number 2, and I know that might be a little bit of an issue for some people who've seen some college football. Obviously, right there, honorable mention right there on the edge. You can have the quarterback from Florida. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I will know next week. And then right there, obviously, right below him, you can have a plethora of guys, man. You could play with the running back from Penn State once they get rolling. You can have the quarterback from Central Florida who had a really good game against East Carolina Saturday, a really good second half. First half, they looked a little rusty. You can literally put just about anybody on the defense side over at Oregon once they start rolling. Kayvon Thibodeau is a big-time player. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with these other Power 5 teams when they come in. This is what you can expect every single week from my college football update, and I'll be rolling this thing out all year long, baby. And I may bring on some special guests, and I might do some little segments inside of my college football update too, and see if we can keep that thing fresh.
That sounds great, man. I do have a question, though. What are your thoughts on these teams that haven't played a game being ranked?
I think obviously, you and I, we look at it fairly similar. I mean, when you're talking about like the Ohio States of the world, I can see why they're still ranked. I mean, it's going to be hard for anybody to convince me why Ohio State is not still, why Ohio State wouldn't still be ranked. But I mean, when you're looking at some of these Pac-12 teams that are ranked, when you think about these kind of number 3, number 4 teams inside the Big Ten, I'm having some issues with that. I'm having some issues with Penn State being at 10. They haven't played a game yet. Penn State shouldn't be at 10. I would be okay with them being maybe at 13, 14, but not at 10. I was extremely disappointed in Oklahoma, man. I had that's great. It's almost like Kansas State has their number, man. It happens year in and year out. Somebody ends up doing it. I'm exceptionally surprised at how well Texas has been playing and how well Oklahoma State has been playing. These Big 12 teams that have been vying for Oklahoma just to slip up so that they'll be ready to go. So as far as for the teams that, you look at Oregon at 14. Should Oregon be at 14 when you've got, Mississippi State rolled this weekend? They beat LSU this weekend. There's absolutely no way that Oregon should be ranked.
How about that air raid, man? That air raid crazy with Mike Leach. Good. Was it 600 yards passing?
Man, one of the biggest regrets I wish I've had in my entire coaching career was that I never got a chance to go out or go see a Mike Leach coach's clinic, man. I wish I would have had the opportunity to do it. The way that they put it on LSU, and I've got to salute their quarterback, Carliso. I can't remember his last name. But that kid, 623 passing yards. 623, coach. That's mad numbers, man. He looked great too, man. Very few mistakes. And he is probably the best quarterback I've ever seen probably playing the Mike Leach system because he understands how to go through his progression the right way. He makes the right checks, and he doesn't really force it, and he lets the game come to him. And that's the Mike Leach system, man, is let the game come to him, find the open grass, like Coach Kenneth McClanrock talked about. And they did an incredible job beating the reigning national champions. And I definitely was a person that didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think that was going to happen.
Awesome. Hey, this is a great segment, man. And we welcome any guests that want to come on, talk college football. Also, questions from you guys watching, throw him that juice. He's passionate. He's got a lot of knowledge about it. And, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be really good, man. Great stuff. Great stuff,
yeah,
Juice.
Well, definitely, man. Anybody, any questions, anytime you want to talk, let's get to it, baby. Juice Man, college football update. Raise the roof.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about it. All right. We're going to go to Kenny McClamrock, and his segment's going to kind of focus on inside the schoolhouse, and it's pretty much going to be whatever Ken wants to make it. So we're going to bring him on, and we're going to let him go to work. So here we go.
Pep, when you're a teacher, it's kind of like being a coach. You have some really, really good days and some really, really good weeks. And then there are days and weeks kind of like today, kind of like this week, where I wish we would have done this 2 weeks ago or even last week, man. Before I talk about that, Coach Coyle, man, you hit it on the head. I'll tell you one thing that really impressed me this past weekend was watching that UCF team play, man. I've been kind of a doubter of them. I haven't really seen a whole lot of them over the years, the whole national championship and all that kind of mess. But granted, it was ECU, and I think ECU is going to be good in the future. But watching UCF's offense, granted the 15 offsides penalties they had in the first quarter or however many it was, man, watching that team play offensively, watching them get set up, watching them just move, man, it was impressive. That is a fine-tuned machine, and UCF is going to be a good football team. But inside the classroom, Pep, you got me on this, man. So we're now, I think, like 7 weeks into school. We're almost finished with the first quarter. Obviously, we've had so many challenges from going virtual in many parts of the state. Where I am in Cabarrus County, we're 100% virtual, learning how to do things on the internet, learning how to upload things on the internet. I'm now teaching a class that I haven't taught in a while, a class that I never thought that I would teach. Teaching it from the ground up, really learning about it, trying to figure out, do research on my own, and then upload it, put it on to the internet. Man, I'll tell you, I'm spending more hours on my laptop doing schoolwork that I've ever done in my entire life. In fact, the last 17 years of teaching, if you added up all the time that I've spent preparing for class, it might not equal what I've already spent these first 7 weeks of school. It's incredible the amounts of time. There have been challenges. There have been some awesome things that we've seen. There have been some awesome things that I've seen from teachers and from administrators. There have been some awesome things that I've seen from students. There have been some frustrating things that I wish wasn't true. From a student standpoint, man, our students have a lot on their plate right now. I think for anybody who's gone off to college, that one of the toughest things to adjust to your freshman year of college is having to time manage, having to deal with the extra time that you have, not having mom wake you up and tell you that it's time to go to class, not having mom to remind you that you got a test coming up because the teacher emailed her earlier in the week. But learn how to do that yourself. And we got so many kids who are at home by themselves without their parents or guardians. We've got so many kids who are having to take care of their younger siblings, taking care of their cousins, taking care of their nieces and their nephews. We've got so many kids who live in a family situation where they've always had to work to help the family pay bills. But now in our case, for example, where Cabarrus County is normally 7:15 to 2:15 in the afternoon, the high schools actually have class from 8:35 until I believe it's 1:25. We have conference times where kids can get together with teachers for remediation and for tutoring and for extra help. I haven't had a whole lot of students take advantage of that. But what I have seen is students who have had to work to support their family, and normally school got out at 2:15. They rode the bus home, or their parents picked them up, or they rode home with a buddy, or they had their license, and maybe they went in and worked 4 to 10 at nighttime. I'm seeing students beginning to work more hours. I'm having students leave my class early, 30 minutes early for my last class, so say at 1 o'clock. And they're saying, man, Mr. McClamrock, I'm sorry, but I've got to go to work. Like, work just called me in. I'm having students on Fridays for us where we don't meet live to live. We have what we call asynchronous learning, where the students have an assignment, or they're watching a video of a teacher or something else, something that they're doing on their own, where students are not completing their work on Fridays because they're having to work all day on Fridays. And there's a lot of sadness to that. There's a lot of sadness to hear kids talk about having to work to support their family. I've dealt with it for 18 years as a teacher. I've seen it. I've seen it as a teacher. I've seen it as a coach. We've had players over the years that left practice in the fall time, that left practice at 6:30, 6:45, and they're rushing up to the field house to get dressed. They're rushing to put on their work clothes. They're rushing to go off to work for another 4 or 5 hours from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and then coming home and crashing when they get home because they've had school for 8 hours. They've had practice for 3 hours. They've had work for 4 hours. They've had no time to do their work. They've had no time to play catch up if they missed school, if they fell behind in their schoolwork. So I'm seeing a lot of things that this really disheartening, if I'm being honest with you. I'm seeing or hearing a lot of stories of kids who have a lot going on in their lives, students who are home now, who maybe have a sick parent, or who have a sick sibling, or who have a sick family member that's staying with them. And these kids are now having to take on the role not only of student, but also of caregiver for their sick parent or for their sick family member. And then just being real, we've got some kids who aren't really doing the things that they should be doing. I mean, I had a parent I was talking to a few weeks ago, a girl that I went to school with, who said, man, my son was doing PE class, middle school PE class today, and while he's supposed to be doing PE, he's eating nacho and cheese and just stuffing it into his face. I do driver's ed to make extra money, and I've asked all my kids, hey, what do you guys think about this world? And I've asked them point blank, like, let's be for real with me. Class starts at 8:35, man. What time are y'all getting up? And the majority of them are getting up at like 8:28. They're brushing their teeth. And then I'm like, are you guys even getting dressed? Or for real, are you guys like hanging out in your bed? And they're like, man, we're not going to lie. We're in our bed. And you guys know, we know this as adults, that if a kid is laying in his bed with his laptop open, man, he is never activating his brain to take in what they're getting ready to talk about in 4 classes. So we've seen some struggles. I know that Mecklenburg County has decided on their back to school plan here in Cabarrus County. We're starting back on October the 19th. So in just a few weeks, where kids are going to go back 2 days a week, a Monday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday plan. Teachers will be in the building 4 days a week. I'm hoping that that's going to begin to kind of reconnect some of the disconnect that's happened since March. Some students where the springtime was such a waste, and it was a waste. There's no other way to describe it. Was such a waste that precedent that was set has carried over. I'm hoping that precedent that's carried over for some of these students, thinking that this is not important, that grades are going to be fixed at the end of the quarter, at the end of the semester, that athletes not taking care of their business right now in the classroom. I hope that precedent can change, that can be a new course can be driven once we get back into the building. But overall, I think it's exactly where everybody thought it would be. It's tough. It's tough on the students. It's tough on the parents. It's tough on the teachers. It's tough on the administrators. And I think there's a lot of hope that things get better whenever we get back into the building. I know that a lot of people are pushing for that. There's a lot of fears from people there. We're not exactly sure, even in Cabarrus County, what that's going to look like, how many students are going to be in the building. I've heard as many as 40% of Cabarrus County students may decide to stay home virtually the entire time, which really throws a monkey wrench into some things. So I don't know, we continue the same way that athletes were like, what the heck are we going to do? Are we going to be able to play? Are we going to be able to have spring ball, summer ball? Are we going to be able to play this fall time? There were so many uncertainties. The truth is they have equal amounts of uncertainties in the classroom as well, Pat.
That's awesome, Ken. I mean, I've got a couple kids here, with me, and the challenges you mentioned are just they really hit home. They really hit home, and Sheree said some things, off camera too that you nail on the head, man. I think this segment's going to be awesome to give us that perspective that a lot of us obviously don't, have right now.
I think the thing that
you got some great comments here.
The thing that I'm going to miss the most as not being a coach are the relationships that are built and the impact that you can have personally on a kid because you're just around them so much. So having that background, you understand, man, that there is a lot of things that goes on in a kid's household that people don't really want to know about. The majority of America,
Absolutely.
The majority of people are talking about our future and our kids. They have no clue about the kid whose mama is drunk at 10 o'clock and who's beating the dog out of them every single day. They have no clue about that. They have no clue about the kid whose dad just kicked him out of the house. They have no clue about the kid who's went 48 hours without having any food in his house. And then he plays the first game of the season and all not eating for 48 hours, and pregame meal is his first meal because school's not in yet. They have no clue. And when you compound that with being at home, taking care of little kids, being the main caregiver for their younger siblings, being the caregiver for sick family members, and then just the struggle that we've talked about, man. The same struggle is real with athletes, that's real with the regular student as well. There are so many facets to this, and I hope that we're able to overcome it. I don't think it's going to be a quick fix, and I hate to sound pessimistic, but there's a lot of stuff that's going to have to be unpacked in the coming months. There really is.
Totally agreed, man. That's great. I'm looking forward to this every week. We have some great comments on this too. From Jamie, one of our regular viewers. Kids have suffered more than adults. You're right. Absolutely. Just some stories that I used to hear coaching at Harding. Just, some of the things you mentioned, Ken, I've lived it. Kids, not eating until pregame meal at 2:30. They don't have time to eat lunch. They don't have time to do their homework. Kids missing practice because they have to work to support the family. It's tough, man. It's tough. Great stuff. It's great stuff.
I don't think there's a true coach, and I hate to use that phrase, but so many of us coaches have been at our players' houses at 1 a.m. whenever the issues hit the fan. And I think that there are so many who knows what that's like. So many coaches who have invested so much of their life into their players, who know so much about the details of the hardships that they face. As a teacher, the average teacher does not understand that. The truth is the majority of America lives in a bubble, and we don't know what it's like for the other half, if you will. I think that those has to be.
Preaching, Ken. We can talk about this all night, but I know y'all watching. We're gonna be done before the finals start. I thank y'all for hanging in there. We're gonna be done. Trust me. Everybody wants to see the Miami beat the Lakers. Everybody wants to see that. All right. So Sheree keep giving me these looks. It is hilarious. All right. So our next segment, we only got 2 left. We're gonna bring the producer Brandon Black in, and we are going to do a segment that is called Notes from the Sideline with the producer, because Brandon is our producer. So what this is talking about is we covered the game Friday night, Nation Ford, Fort Mill. Nation Ford won that game 45-20. We're going to get Brandon's thoughts, and I'm going to interject with a few of my thoughts as well, but I'm going to let him run this show right now. We cannot hear you, sir.
Got you.
Look great, though.
We keep fumbling on a lot of first down fumbles. Like I said, it's only first down, so we can get this back in about 2 plays, so we're not too worried.
Second and 15.
Yeah, we can manage that. That's a manageable 2nd and 15. So like Pet Man said, each week we're gonna bring you some notes, observations, comments, different things like that from the sideline. Sometimes it'll be, about the X's and O's, and sometimes it'll be just observations about the team energy, other things we might notice. So as far as Nation Forward and Fort Mill goes, Nation Forward came out, a lot of energy, and pretty much jumped on top really quick. They came out, jumped out to a 15-0 lead. A couple quick scores. Their quarterback was pretty good. I think it was something like 24-31 for the night or whatever. He was on point from the beginning. But
Carson Black, 4 touchdown passes.
Exactly. That's I think, and if I'm not mistaken, that was his first start ever, first varsity start. So
at Nation Forward, that was his first start. He came from Sun Valley, where he was touted as a big-time freshman coming up. That he was going to be the next Sam Howell. So there was a lot of expectations on him. And I don't think it was necessarily fair. Yeah.
Right. That's big shoes to fill. I mean, you're talking about the UNC starter, but at the end of the day, he did good. Definitely off to a great start. And they jumped out to a quick lead, but gotta give, as far as the first half go, Fort Mill didn't lay down. They were able to cut the lead going into halftime, 21-14. And they did jump back in it. But at the end of the day, Nation Forward just proved to be a little bit too much for them. But I do commend them for not laying down, and they did keep fighting. Nation Forward just proved to be, unfortunately, a little bit more prepared for the game, and you could tell there might have been a little bit of rust on the side of Fort Mill. One thing I will say, noticed about Fort Mill, great stable of running backs, man. They need to lean into that and rotate them in. Even the third string guy was really running hard. Came in with some fresh legs in the second half. So I feel like they're going to have to lean into that nice stable of running backs they got. So Nations Forward jumped out. Good start for them. But Fort Mill shouldn't hang their heads. We noticed some good things, like I said, the running back play. Defense played, especially that going into that second quarter after Nations Forward jumped out. Their defense didn't play too bad to finish out that half. Like I said, they just kind of like a boxing match. They kind of just got wore down. Legs got a little loose, and then they kind of fell apart in the second half. But there were some key things there that I feel like Fort Mill doesn't have to hang their head, and hopefully they can build upon and have a better showing in the second game.
Yeah, and the Fort Mill kid that got injured, the big D tackle, number 90, he was a captain. I hope he's okay because, he had an injury. He couldn't put weight on it. I think losing him really kind of hurt Fort Mill's ability to stop the run game in Nation Forward, which I think was a big key. Carson Black had the 4 touchdown passes. He had over 200 yards passing, but that balance in the Fort Mill, the Nation Forward offense, I think was a big key to their success in that game. This week, Fort Mill's they're actually hosting Clover in their first home game, and then Nation Forward is going on the road to Bowling Springs. So we'll see how those two teams bounce back. But, Nation Forward have a lot of good young talent that's coming up. I think that's a team that's on the rise. It's going to be exciting to see Black there for the next 3 years, including this one. That running back that they had is a 2022 kid. The receiver, Jarrett Foster, number 4, is a 2022 kid. So they've got some talent that's going to be there for a little while. And one of the things that their coaching staff was saying was how young they are. But I tell you, the D tackle, Bryce Webb, number 74, my goodness. You look at those highlights, man. He's making 5 and 6 tackles in the backfield. I mean, I could have put more of his highlight in there, but I mean, it was just a dominant performance by him, man. Just incredible stuff.
Yeah, I definitely see Nation Forward. From that early showing, definitely see them as a little bit different format this year, but I definitely see them as a early playoff pick. They'll be in the mix in the playoffs for sure.
I think so. And, just in general, covering South Carolina is awesome. I'm excited to see some new places, some new faces, and we'll be going to another new place this week. I will reveal that when we get it locked in, but I feel pretty confident we're going to be going to another new place. So we'll be excited to get down to another new school and check them out. So thank producer Brandon Black for coming on, sharing some notes on the sideline. And we're going to roll into our last segment because I know the finals about to tip off. And I'm going to knock it out real quick because I know I want to see it too. So give me 5 minutes. Here we go. We got the recruiting roundup with Pet Man. All right, so on the recruiting roundup, I'm going to feature some kids that are either getting offers, have recently committed, or we're going to talk about some different things with recruiting and kids in the Charlotte metro area that we cover. But today, of course, to introduce it, I'm going to talk about some kids that are already committed that I know are going to do well on the next level. We got, of course, I got to start with the Harding Rams. You know, that's a rule. Tylen Dunlap, defensive lineman, committed to Georgia State. So happy for that young man. He's about 6'1", 260, just incredible burst off the ball. He's going to do great down there. I think that's a great fit for him, a mid D1 tier kind of program where he'll be able to play early. Cameron Smith, the running back at Olympic, he's going to play at Navy. That's a great fit for this young man. He's got the right personality for the Naval Academy. He's going to help make a difference on the field and off the field. A kid that I could see being a senator one day, to be honest with you. Just that kind of, personality on that young man. Eddie Zaplicki, the kicker / punter from Providence, committed to Arizona State, going down there with Herm Edwards. Coach Bills always used to talk about this kid as just incredible kicking talent. We've seen that, so many for the last 4 years, just an incredible, talented kid going out, out in the West Coast area, playing out in Arizona State. Of course, Drake May going to North Carolina from Myers Park. What else can you say about that kid? He'll be the next heir apparent after Sam Howell. It looks like Howell, and I forgot to mention this to Juice, but I think Sam Howell will end up being a Heisman candidate at some point too. They just got to play more than one game. I think when he gets out there, he's going to be able to make a name for himself too. So Drake May's kind of following that trend right there of great quarterbacks in the Charlotte Metro going up to North Carolina. You got Evan Pryor from Huff, the great running back, going to Ohio State. I know a lot of in-state schools and probably Clemson and South Carolina too are kicking themselves for letting Evan Pryor get out away from the Carolinas and up to Ohio State. But talent is undeniable. Just seeing this kid progress from when he was a freshman at Ardrey Kell to where he is now, just a meteoric rise in talent and ability, personality as well. Just incredible, man. I'm so happy for that young man. Power Echols, we mentioned him earlier where Coach Hackett was on, going to North Carolina, playing linebacker. Just one of the best players I've ever seen live in my 14 years of coaching and 6 years of doing this stuff. Just an incredible player, great personality. When he was a sophomore, Aaron Brand, the former Vance coach, now at Irmo, told me that this kid was going to be one of the most special players that ever came through Charlotte as a sophomore. This was before his sophomore season. And, I interviewed him, and it was just something about him that it was just like, this kid is different, man. He's different. And, he's going to be a great leader for that North Carolina defense for years to come, man. He's going to, his size, he may not be the biggest, but his heart is tremendous, man. It's tremendous. Gavin Blackwell, speedster receiver from Sun Valley, going to North Carolina. North Carolina doing a great job with these in-state kids. Gabe Stevens was at the Under the Lights camp at Mountain Island, his home school. He displayed why he's a great linebacker, just incredible speed and range, ability to break on the football. Jordan Poole from West Stanley, going to North Carolina State. I'll tell you, this kid is a man. I saw him at the elite camp back in August. Man, just a man-child at the linebacker position. My goodness. Damian Wilson, Day Wilson from Kings Mountain, going to Missouri. He's another one that's a little undersized, weak side linebacker, but he will come up and hit you. Great cover skills. Really, really talented kid. Great personality also. Julian Gray from Hopewell, going to NC State, speed personified. He caught a hitch last year against Harding and took it 85 yards. He caught a quick screen where he almost took it to the house too without a lot of blocking. Just incredible speed, agility, and ability to do things in space that a lot of people can't do. Tyrell Davis, the great safety from Hickory Ridge, going to Georgia Southern. I think it's another great fit for a kid like Tyrell. Once again, he'll go to a mid-tier program where he'll be able to get on the field and play early. That's a great deal. Elijah Metcalf going to Middle Tennessee State from Mallard Creek. incredible slot receiver. You talk about agility. This kid is incredible. Just the way he moves in and out of cuts and all those things. And then finally, the last one I'm going to talk about tonight, Independence. Tyson Kloss going to Charlotte. Local, great fit for him. He's got the great frame. This is a steal for Charlotte. I think this kid is going to blow up, man. And if he just gets in that program and, gets into a good weight program and really, really pushes himself, I think he could be like Larry Ogunjobi, defensive tackle that played at Charlotte, up at the Cleveland Browns now, starring on their defensive line, making plays, tackles for loss in the backfield. This kid can get in that same trajectory. He's got the frame to build and grow, and he's in a place where, he can get in there and play probably relatively early and do some good things for a really good and up-and-coming program in Charlotte with Coach Healy, who's doing some big things over there. So that's the recruiting roundup tonight. Real quick, I'm going to bring everybody back. We'll get everyone's thoughts on the finals here real quick before we sign off, but I know y'all watching it, so here we go. All right, so who we got in the finals? Sheree, I already know who you got.
Yeah,
you
man.
said Lakers in 6, right?
Yeah, 4-2. I'll give them 2 games.
All right, 4-2.
I give them 2 games.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Choose what you got.
I'm watching this first quarter, man. I don't know, man. I had Lakers in 6 too. Starting off, I'm not trying to copy you, Sheree. I'm not trying to copy you. I had Lakers in 6, but I don't know. The Heat match up pretty well, man. They match up really, really well against the Lakers, man. So either whoever wins, man, I got them winning in 6. I don't think it's gonna go 7.
We'll see.
Ken, what you got?
Lakers in 5.
Ooh,
Lakers in 5.
I like that, Ken.
All right. All right, here we go. Here we go real quick. I'm going to hit it and quit it. Hit it and quit it. End in the show. Heat in 7. Good night.